These two now. So the one on the left-hand side, we've got the red line that sort of shows a negative thing in terms of what your hip was doing, okay? This is where your hip was, you can see in the backswing, kind of sliding laterally towards that red line. And as a result of your hip going this way, you kind of lift things up. Your swing's going to get a little bit steeper, not going to get as much turn or power, okay? And if the hip kind of goes this way on the way back, it's kind of going to go that way on the way through. Then you find yourself sort of rocking your hips back and forth, and your arms or just sort of swiping across your body, generally leaving the club face a little bit open, okay? And then to try and square that club face up, if you slid back here, you just pivot on this right foot and just cut across it. It might end up going straighter, but you're losing yardage and distance and all sorts of stuff, and the ball goes quite high and floating, okay? So the feeling now as a takeaway is the hip's going to move a little bit this way as it goes, sort of bump the start of the swing, and then turn around behind that right heel, okay? So if we look at the movement here now as you go back, okay? So a little bit of movement there, and then we can watch your right hip there. Look at that backswing. Comparison to that length backswing there, that's what's going to give you the extra 20, 30 yards you've been getting there, okay? Head still looking down the golf ball, yeah? You haven't lost sight of the golf ball. Hips got at least at this side of the blue line, maybe moved a smidgen that way, but in comparison to where you were there, you can see kind of there's your hip line on that one there, kind of out there, and that one there is pretty much on the line. So with that fuller backswing, you can then come back to the golf ball, release all that power back to the golf ball, and just twist your body through. Very, very good full finish onto that left side, okay? So if the hip goes back here and slides, then you cause the problem in the lifting of the backswing as you go back. So it's understanding now where the hip goes, how it moves, and I suppose for you more the feeling to what does this and this feel like. What we don't want to see from sort of setup is you sort of setting up to here now, and then your leg kind of going from there to kind of back here where you go kind of look and doing this with it. That's no good to anybody, okay? It's going to get you really stuck and have no chance of winning the golf club at all. So there's a little bit of kind of a bump to sort of shift the swing away a little bit, and then once that hip kind of moves over to that right side, then it kind of just turns and disappears behind your ankle, okay?
What's the best way to sort of practice?
One good way to do that is, again, probably up against a wall or maybe a chair, okay? Start off like so, okay? So move a little bit into the wall there, like so, towards it, and then turn around. So if you want to see your hips going against the wall this way, doing your old thing, you just go, oop, and you'll be sort of knocking into the wall there. A guy gave me a good example. He did this thing we sort of said about using his golf bag or a chair or something. He used his office chair with wheels. So he'd swing back. If he did this with his hips, he'd move the chair across the office. So he just sort of kept himself kind of move into the chair, and then almost like he's sort of brushing his hip kind of across the back of the backrest in the chair. So he sort of swing into it, stop, and then just go, and feel his hip doing this. So his hip was kind of going in a kind of a vertical, horizontal line this way. It's not going that way. It's not going that way as you were doing, okay? Yeah. It's got to bumps a little bit and then whips behind you, okay? And then once you go and get in that top of the backswing position, you just let it go. Don't think about the impact or anything else coming back down. You've set yourself in a position from whereby you can return the club back to the ball. And like I say, there'll be a couple of times where you where you strike it a little bit thin or a bit clean, because this movement going back is effectively slightly flatter, and then you miss the ground, as opposed to doing this that's a bit steeper and sticking the club in the ground. So if you find a few shots missing the ground a little bit, definitely not 100% try and keep your head down longer, okay? Just keep turning and just let your arms and your body kind of react to where the ground is, okay? If you try and keep the head down too long, you just get stuck and you ain't never going to move properly, okay? That kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
Good.